Hello, and welcome. This is my official list of changes I believe behavior should make to the Legion in Dead by Daylight. It's worth noting that I have played this killer on and off since their original release at the end of 2018. I don't want to sound egotistical, but it's believed by myself and the Dead by Daylight content space that I am the most reliable source for anything Legion related. I am dedicated to my favorite killer so much that I have spent the last 2 years putting together this document, detailing various changes to the base kit and add-ons, as well as the deep wound status effect. Through continuous polling of community opinions, as well as direct feedback from players and community members, I am presenting what I firmly believe as the best update Legion could receive. All of these changes fit behavior's vision for the character, so you won't see any silly ideas like AI members or a disguised power of sorts. This further solidifies the Legion as the run fast and stab killer they are and always will be. This update will make the Legion feel better to play as and against. These changes largely focus on quality of life and small tweaks to their base kit and the deep wound status effect. Alongside this update is an extensive revision to their add-ons, bringing the worst up to date and the annoying less so. So please, sit back, relax, and enjoy the new and improved Legion in Dead by Daylight. The first set of changes focus solely on quality of life, notably the 5th feral slash. We all know how hard it can truly be to get that ever so satisfying 5th hit down. To make it more satisfying than ever, there is now an audio cue that triggers right after the 4th hit that can be heard map-wide, indicating to all players that the next feral slash will down a survivor. And when it does, the Legion will now be granted 500 blood points in the deviousness category for successfully using their power. Beyond these changes made to the combo hit system, 2 tweaks have been made to the power's cooldown phase. The visual effects that pulse in and darken the player's screen have been brought in line with other killers, no longer disproportionately hindering the Legion's view, and the camera is no longer locked to a horizontal motion. Looking up and down is now possible. This will be the most noticeable when transitioning between elevations, such as slopes and stairs. As I mentioned earlier, the Legion will also be receiving a number of tweaks and adjustments to their base kit, making their Feral Frenzy stronger than it is currently. The first change I would like to go over is Frank's mixtape being added into the base kit. Well, actually it's even better than that. In addition to pausing when damaging generators or breaking walls, the power gauge depletion now pauses when doing anything during Feral Frenzy. This includes all actions, such as snuffing totems or closing the hatch. While it won't make a huge difference, on a number of maps that feature breakable walls, being able to break them when along your stabbing spree could help you land a hit when you otherwise wouldn't. This also provides the Legion with a little more utility to their power, allowing them to now damage any generators along the way to their next target. Speaking of targets, if they're oblivious, they will no longer be immune to Feral Frenzy's killer instinct. This change in particular makes staying injured less appealing and provides a far greater set of loadout possibilities. Of course, these oblivious survivors still have to be physically within your detection radius to be seen, although I'm sure you assume that anyway. Finally, after 5 years, one of the most pointless and redundant nerfs to the Legion's base kit has been reverted. The Legion can once again see pools of blood left by injured survivors. While they still can't see scratch marks, at least the first hit will be less tedious to get when playing against a silent injured survivor, or on an indoor map. This won't change anything with their current power strength and is a freebie, so to speak. I'm sure someone somewhere will make an excuse as to why you don't need blood in the first place because of killer instinct, and to that I say, exactly. So why hide it? Let's talk about numeric changes, specifically towards their power cooldown phase. The Legion now moves a bit quicker at their slowest point, and the duration of the power's cooldown phase has been shortened. Beyond that, their movement speed now begins being restored, similarly to when the hillbilly ends his chainsaw sprint. These changes combined will allow the Legion to more aggressively and creatively use their power during a chase, in a similar way to the Mastermind. The Legion can vault a pallet or window, cancel their ability, and now better keep up with a running survivor, potentially landing a hit on longer loops. This will lead to more Legions chasing down survivors rather than solely relying on hit-and-run playstyles. While I'm sure many of you were hoping to see faster movement speed during Feral Frenzy, I believe that focusing more on his weaker aspect is a better use of time and resources, despite how frustrating it can be to lose out on a hit because you didn't bring add-ons. The changes made to the power's cooldown will allow you to better chase and down survivors, leading to more mind games and interactions between both sides, something that both survivors and killers want more of. The Deep Wound status effect is a tricky one. While I would love to make a mountain of changes to the debuff, it's hard to do that when so many perks, killers, and add-ons apply the effect. The status effect is a necessary aspect of the Legion's power for it to function, for better or for worse. Removing it is not a possibility, nor is drastically reworking it. That's why these changes focus instead on making the effect less tedious for survivors and ultimately more rewarding to them. Deep Wound can be mended in 8 seconds now, 4 seconds faster than before, and even grants more blood points. In fact, it now grants 300% more than it did before, and then some. To make sure survivors aren't insta-mending, the effect can now only be removed by survivors who have it, so no more group mending. Moving on to the add-ons, I want to talk about a few specifically. The Pin series of add-ons penalize survivors for mending, which felt pretty bad, but also wasn't super worth it for the Legion. While having someone suffering from mangled sounds nice, in actuality, it didn't help all too much, nor did making them broken, as the best thing to do against the Legion is to remain injured and far away from your allies. Furthermore, less experienced survivors felt overwhelmed by these add-ons, as they were less comfortable being injured against the killer, so the Pin add-ons have been reworked to instead penalize survivors for remaining in Deep Wound. This will help Legion in chases, and have new status effects as well. I want to shine a particular spotlight on the Legion Pin add-on, as this will be the best way to catch survivors with exhaustion perks in chases. The Hand Wraps add-on is replacing Etched Ruler, since the Ruler add-on is a duplicate icon and was overlooked originally during their second major rework. It now has a unique identity, and increases vaulting speeds during Feral Frenzy. This brings back the beloved Vault Master Legion build that all Bamboozle addicts enjoyed from ages past. Julie's mixtape felt terrible to play against since it punished the survivor for playing well and rewarded the Legion for getting stunned. Now, it simply reduces the stun duration during Feral Frenzy, rather than instantly recharging the entire power. I still liked the effect of recharging the power, so now Joy's mixtape functions by replenishing it after breaking a pallet or wall, giving the survivor some time to make distance before you can re-trigger Feral Frenzy. Stolen Sketchbook isn't used very often, but has a fun and build-centric effect. To make the add-on a little more appealing to more players, it now reduces item charges. Filthy Blade got a rework due to the new Deep Wound mending time. Instead, it now regresses incomplete mending progress, similarly to the Hemorrhage status effect. Frank's mixtape was made base kit, but the fun action speed it provides remains largely the same. I did however buff the speed at which gens are kicked by 10%, bringing it in line with wall breaking speed. Stab Wound Study is in a middle ground of sorts. A lot of people weren't too happy to see the Legion Pin reworked and the broken effect entirely removed, so I brought it back in a weaker form. It lasts for 15 seconds less than it did before, and is now also a higher rarity. While this effect won't be noticed against high MMR survivors, it will be very oppressive against weaker players, hence why it's a higher rarity and lasts for a shorter period of time. I also didn't want to make it feel too strong, since the reason I changed the Pin add-ons in the first place was to make mending feel better in general. So that's it. That's the Legion update. I hope you enjoyed. Please share, like, subscribe, hit the bell if you feel the need to, and do share your thoughts in the comment section below. Goodbye.